You are now watching The Meech.
New Super Mario Bros., a series that's gained the reputation of being monotonous and frankly not new. Pretty ironic considering new is in the title of every game. There are two main factors why New Super Mario Bros. As a series has gotten this reputation. 2012 gave us not you, but two New Super Mario Bros. Games. Neither of these games did anything to evolve 2D Mario, and barely did anything new. But the second factor is the domino effect that happened in the Mario series. During the early 2010s, Mario games played it way too safe and didn't take creative risks. Everything was tied to New Super Mario Bros., and this was especially apparent with the RPGs. The game that's often pinpointed as a direct cause of Market Pantry Mario is none other than New Super Mario Bros. Wii. At face value, it does make sense. Succeeding games often use elements found in Wii, and two games were essentially built from it. But the thing is, New Super Mario Bros. Wii shouldn't be categorized as unoriginal like 2 and U, because it did a lot to provide a truly new experience. It often doesn't get the credit it deserves, and I'm here to defend my stance that it is indeed a creative and great game. And this is coming from a guy who thrives on not defending Nintendo, so you know this is serious business. And to make sure you know I'm mega super ultra serious, I'm joined by the one and only Starcronix.
Sounds good to me, Demeech. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was my first home console game, and coincidentally is my favorite 2D Mario game of all time. It's about time we discuss such a fantastic entry into such a highly controversial series. Let's dive in.
Great to have you on here. Let's party like it's 2009. Let's-a go. Our story begins with Mario and friends celebrating Princess Peach's birthday. They may not be celebrating with cardboard and frosting and 4-ply, but in a role reversal of the century, Peach is the one getting a cake, not Mario. And it's a massive cake too. Now when it comes to birthdays, I like to celebrate in a more reserved way. Don't need candles and cake, just need— oh my goodness! Those aren't cake toppers! Those are the koopalings! Nowadays, getting excited to see the koopalings is like getting excited to listen to NPR. But in 2009, this was a big deal. The last mainline Mario game they appeared in prior to Wii was Super Mario World, with a few spin-off exceptions such as Yoshi Safari, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and even Hotel Mario. They were kinda in hibernation. It was incredible seeing them again, returning with modern 3D designs, and even Bowser Jr. is in on the action. This is why I always consider Bowser Jr. to be part of the koopalings. I know you can claim you aren't the father Bowser to weasel your way out of Mari, but we know the truth. Despite the story being the same as always, it's a fun and unique take on the traditional story. But as I always say, a new or interesting story is nice to have, but the gameplay is the most important factor. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is at its core similar to the original on DS. The general movement is the same, but it's refined to feel even better. Mario can now spin jump for extra airtime and to take out enemies in one hit. Unfortunately, you can't jump on spiked enemies, but it's a great move to have and makes the control a lot more versatile. A few moves and mechanics require motion controls, and personally, I love them, but the option for classic controller support would have been nice. Wii is structured like a traditional Mario game, meaning it's all about stomping Goombas, kicking Koopas, and using power-ups. It's a formula that's proven to work, though I will say, 2D Mario now needs to evolve. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was released in 2009, meaning it was before Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, Rayman Origins and Legends, and pretty much every modern 2D platformer. But even though the core gameplay is the same as it's always been, there are many new mechanics introduced. Looking back at the original New Super Mario Bros., I gotta be honest, the new power-ups weren't that great. The Mega Mushroom is a blast to use, but it's incredibly situational. And the Mini Mushroom? Wait, that's a power-up? The only new power-up I found to be excellent was the Blue Shell, and I'm willing to stand on that hill and say it's one of Mario's best power-ups. Those who despise it likely don't even know how to use it. The only power-ups you'll primarily use are the Blue Shell and the Fire Flower, but New Super Mario Bros. Wii introduced 3 new power-ups that aren't just good, but are incredible. The Fire Flower is given a counterpart that's quite literally the polar opposite, the Ice Flower. While it first appeared in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time and then was given a completely different functionality in Super Mario Galaxy, this is my favorite form of the Ice Flower. Mario and friends can throw snowballs to freeze enemies. You can take out 4 more enemies than you can with the standard Fire Flower, but you'll need to throw the frozen enemy in order to defeat them. If there are many enemies, the Fire Flower is ideal since they can be taken out instantly, but the Ice Flower can take out more enemies even if it takes a bit more work. The Fire and Ice Flower have different strengths and weaknesses, each giving them a purpose. Now that's what I call good game design. Most Mario games have a power-up that grants flight or hovering, so it was a bit odd not seeing a power-up like that in New Super Mario Bros. But that didn't fly past Wii. The Propeller Mushroom is the new flight power-up, and is what I'd consider to be Wii's defining power-up. By shaking the Wii Remote, Mario and friends can reach new heights. It's different than the Raccoon Suit or Cape Feather, as it's designed around vertical movement. It's very useful in the tower levels. While the Raccoon Suit is my favorite, the Propeller Mushroom is still a great power-up. There are so many cool Mario power-ups, and choosing a favorite has proven to be a challenge, but after analyzing them, I've come to the conclusion that the best Mario power-up of all time is the Penguin Suit. It's an absolute powerhouse with incredible versatility. You can slide down frozen slopes and skim across water, walk on ice without slipping, you can swim substantially better, and you can even throw snowballs. It does sorta antiquate the Ice Flower, but it's somewhat rare while the Ice Flower is common. The only issue? I found it to look a bit too silly with the overalls. All the other suit power-ups don't incorporate overalls, and frankly look better. But man, that is such a minor nitpick in the grand scheme of this awesome power-up. The rest of the power-ups are returning items, but although he's not a power-up, we managed to hatch a series favorite into the game. Yoshi makes his grand return in a 2D Mario game after Super Mario World nearly 2 decades prior, in pink, light blue, yellow, and green. Not just red, gold, and green. Oh, and blue. Only this time, he can flutter, jump, and hatch power-ups. The Yoshi levels are some of the best in the game, but bafflingly, you can't take him out of a level. I'm assuming they wanted the Yoshi levels to be a highlight, and while they certainly are, I wish Yoshi was far more utilized. Wii has excellent movement and stellar power-ups, but if the level design is subpar, they won't matter much. Let's take a look at the level design.
When looking at the level design in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, it's clear to see that the levels are longer, larger, and more open for the player to explore. This was done to accommodate multiple players, but also to allow the players the opportunity to explore and look for secrets hidden within the levels. In some games, designing levels for multiple players can be detrimental to the game. Kirby Star Allies, for example, has a lot of areas in levels that are so empty, and in games like New Super Mario Bros. U, the secrets feel so cheap and placed in either broad daylight or in overly hidden secret areas that require Mini Mario. But even though the levels in Wii are larger, they're designed very well and have a lot of depth to them. There are many star coins and hidden exits to find, so the goal isn't just reaching the flagpole. There's also a good balance of challenge and accessibility. The game is not old school hard, like Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, but there are quite a few challenging levels, especially the notorious World 9-7. Nowadays, I can breeze through these levels, but it did take a lot of practice for me to get there. Games nowadays have become too easy, so it's refreshing playing a game with a good amount of challenge. And looking back on it now, the way that the levels in New Super Mario Bros. Wii are designed to be progressively difficult as the game progresses is so smooth and so balanced. It never feels like they're throwing you in the deep end. But my favorite thing about the level design in New Super Mario Bros. Wii is how most levels utilize new and existing concepts. World 1, for example, serves as an introduction to the basics. The first level is designed around the Propeller Mushroom, while the second underground level introduces players to the Ice Flower. They do a great job getting players familiar with the new power-ups. But where the levels shine the most is when they're designed around enemies or a mechanic. World 2, the Desert World, brings a lot of variety to the rather dry desert theme. You'll be throwing barrels, navigating through a dark cavern, and bringing light to a dark temple. World 3, the Ice World, introduces the Penguin Suit, and you'll be sliding down slopes, avoiding the new Kooligan Penguin enemies. And once you reach the jungles of World 5, you'll be jumping on gigantic wigglers and flying on stingrays. Most of the levels have a defining mechanic, and it brings a lot of variety to the game. Not only does it make the levels memorable, but more varied and exciting.
Starman, that's exactly how I feel as well. Each level has a mechanic themed around it, making the levels memorable and varied. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is seemingly a perfect game based on what we've covered, but like any game, it does have some shortcomings. The timer is completely unnecessary. There's no need for it. It doesn't add challenge, and is archaic. Boss fights have been a consistent issue in Mario games, and the main problem is that they're too short. 3 hits and you're done. But unlike a game like New Super Mario Bros. 2, which had repetitive and boring boss fights, the boss fights here are a blast. The koopalings have 2 phases. The fortress fights are standard, but the castle fights have Kamek power them up. My favorite are Iggy's Chain Chomp ride and Ludwig's elevator ride from hell. Nowadays, I know we like a book, so these fights are a cakewalk, but by far the best boss fights in the game are the Bowser Jr. airship fights. The first one encourages you to fly and spin drill the brat to his demise, but I like to go the Donkey Kong 94 route and throw the propeller blocks at him. But the World 6 airship fight is hands down the most fun Mario boss of all time. Mario gets his own clown car, and you essentially defeat Junior by playing bumper cars. This would make for a great minigame. Really, the only criticisms I have is that they take 3 hits and are a bit easy. All these criticisms are exempt from the incredible final boss. The game did release in 2009, but if you've never played it, I won't spoil how epic the final boss truly is. My last gripe with the gameplay involves the most pointless missions I've ever seen in a game. Each world has a mission where you can escort Toad to the goal, and by doing so, you can get more 1-ups and a Toad House. You can already get a Toad House by reaching the flagpole when the last 2 numbers on the timer match. Now sure, these are completely optional, but they are incredibly pointless. The Nabbit chases in New Super Mario Bros. U, on the other hand, are a blast. Maybe if the Toad missions were like this, I'd be more entertained.
Alright, you greasy little meatball, let's do this! Why are you pacing around like a buffoon? Follow me!
I want a piggyback ride!
I'm not giving you a piggyback ride! Let's go!
But I want one!
Okay, fine. I hope Peach knows how far I'll go for her.
Are we there yet?
Not yet, buddy.
Are we there yet?
No, we aren't.
Are we there yet?
Look! Close salami your darn mouth! Otherwise I'll throw you into the freaking lava!
You can't tell me what to do!
Toad, look out! I got this. Don't ever do that again!
I promise. Perhaps we need Mario's time machine to prevent it from ever happening again. Other than those, New Super Mario Bros. Wii has stellar gameplay. The presentation of New Super Mario Bros. Games is often a common critique, most notably with 2 and U. And considering those games are derived from Wii, let's take a look at the presentation and see if it has similar issues. The presentation of Wii is a complete revamp of the original on DS. The art style is similar, but it's no longer a hybrid of 3D models and sprites, which makes sense considering the Wii has far more power. Considering we've seen the style of Wii time and time again, it's not the most exciting to look at now, but Wii still manages to have a nice presentation. Unfortunately, all the themes are from the original DS game. It's disappointing not seeing new world themes, but they do have improvements. The snow world has overcast skies, and as you progress, the skies get more gray, and the mountain world has a subtle Japan theme to it. I will say World 9 was a huge missed opportunity, and I would love if the levels incorporated the Rainbow Star theme, but the presentation looks quite good. Music, on the other hand, still holds up very well. Unlike 2 and U, Wii has an original soundtrack with most being new compositions. Some of the standouts for me were the map themes of World 3, 8, and 9, the level theme of World 8, and of course the excellent final boss music. It's not my favorite Mario soundtrack ever, that goes to Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix, but the overall presentation is quite good. New Super Mario Bros. Wii has nearly 80 levels to explore, each having 3 star coins. You'll need to collect all of them to unlock the levels in World 9. There's a lot of content and a lot of replayability. No need for free updates. Unlike the other New Super Mario Bros. Games, New Super Mario Bros. Wii does not have an additional single-player mode of any kind, but it does have a major new addition that essentially defines the game.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii was revealed back at E3 2009, and right from the get-go, the huge mechanic and selling point of the game was the 4-player multiplayer. The DS entry had a multiplayer option, which was Mario vs. Luigi, where you and a friend compete for the most stars on 5 unique levels, but you never had the option to play the main game cooperatively. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, on the other hand, gives players the ability to jump in right from the start with up to 4 players. While yes, Nintendo made the weird decision to use Buck and Berry and a la Gold instead of Wario and Waluigi, it is nice to see some new playable characters.
Buck and Berry and a la Gold aside, the multiplayer is an absolute blast. It often gets criticism for being chaotic, which it definitely can be, but that mainly applies to 4-player multiplayer. 3 is manageable, and 2 is perfect. My brother and I used to fight like barbarians for over a decade. It's shocking that either of us made it out alive, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii could be the reason why either of us are still here. We'd take a break from beating the ever-living hell out of each other to play the game. We primarily played the story mode, but there are 2 additional modes. Free-for-all is a collection of all the levels you cleared in the story mode, and it's essentially like versus mode in Mario Kart, and Coin Battle has you compete for the highest amount of coins. There are even a few new levels specifically made for Coin Battle. These modes are nice to have, but regardless, New Super Mario Bros. Wii has so much content that I'm still engaged with the game nearly 12 years later. So far, we've established New Super Mario Bros. Wii has excellent gameplay, amazing power-ups, stellar level design, a nice presentation, and the game-changing addition of co-op. Even with its flaws, it's an excellent experience. So what's the verdict?
New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a phenomenal game that brings the legendary platforming genre to a whole new generation. With the Wii's casual audience combined with the older fans of the 2D games, New Super Mario Bros. Wii sold a crazy 30.32 million copies worldwide, making it the 19th best-selling video game of all time. If you skipped out on this game just because of the impressions of New Super Mario Bros. 2 and U, I highly recommend you go back and give it a shot. You'll find yourself having a lot more fun than you realize, and with the 4-player multiplayer, it may be very chaotic, but it adds to the fun, trust me. It is a worthwhile experience. Thank you so much, Dimitri, for having me on your channel. I'm very appreciative for the opportunity, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. This project has been several years in the making, and I cannot believe it's finally coming out. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Great to have you on as always, Starboy. Water levels stink. The sun is angry. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is treasure. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is my favorite 2D Mario game, and one of my favorite games ever, and it isn't based on nostalgia. New Super Mario Bros. U is fun, but is essentially Wii all over again, and not in a good way. It's like if Wii had a nasty hangover nearly 3 years later. It did nothing to innovate, and its creative concepts are far and few between. And New Super Mario Bros. 2 is just Wii, with a coin gimmick and the raccoon suit. From the addition of co-op, the excellent new power-ups, to great levels, and the return of things such as the Koopalings and Yoshi, New Super Mario Bros. Wii goes beyond just having a gimmick, and is truly an experience. So what do you guys think? What is your favorite 2D Mario game? Anyways, let us know in the comments, and keep calm and dada on.